Hey everybody, this is Chris from Sorcerer. You're watching CMS TV. Metal.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Its red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh!
Loving the new Star Spangled Banner.
Like that, huh?
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Sounds
Well,
good.
what is going on, everybody? It is the Seth Williams Show. Obviously, neither one of us are Seth.
No.
We will get to that in just a couple of minutes. It's me, Chris Aiken, here, and sitting in for Seth today, and somebody who I'm sure a lot of you knew from 95.5 The Fish and are going to probably know a whole lot more from this show in the weeks and months to come, Mr. Greg Mack. Greg, how are you, man?
Hello. I'm much better than I was last week. I spent the first week of unemployment, bedridden. I got the nasty ick that's been going around, and today's like the first day that I've felt better. So I was planning on, when I heard about Seth, I was planning on doing this show no matter how I felt, but I'm really glad I feel a lot better today.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, dude, it's funny because one of the very first comments that comes in was something you and I were talking about 3 seconds before the show started. Oh, no, I didn't want to see that.
That's Aunt Esther. I got to troll Maxine Waters every chance I can get, and I just thought, why not?
No argument from me. I cannot stand her. I am
I
don't think anybody can unless you're black and living in a ghetto and happy to take handouts.
Yeah. Hey, I got to throw out, if you don't mind, Chris, I got to throw out a disclaimer really quick because
please.
We may get a lot of 95.5 Fish listeners jump in, which is fantastic. If you don't know, 95.5 The Fish was purchased. We went off the air on January 31st, which is why I am unemployed right now. But a lot of my Fish followers, they may be following me here today. So I want to throw out a disclaimer because, as you know, Fish is a Christian station.
Sure.
And there's a wide spectrum of, Christian folks.
Right.
I kind of fall maybe in the middle of that. I think a lot of evangelicals may look down on me for the way I behave and my faith and how I present myself. While others, may think, oh, Greg's, good Christian, whatever. I go with the mindset that Jesus loves everybody. So I do want to warn you, if you are a sensitive fish listener,
swim elsewhere.
Right. I mean, look, there's going to be language on this show.
Oh yeah.
I try to keep my language clean just because that's me. I don't look down on anybody who drops F-bombs or whatever. If you can handle it, welcome aboard.
Yes.
Love to have you here. I think you're going to find politically a lot of us align with you, and maybe not. So there you go. That's the disclaimer.
And I'll disclaim from this side, I swear a lot. So be ready. That's the only warning I'll give. I do swear. Well, dude, we do have plenty to talk about. Obviously, the Super Bowl was yesterday, and we have plenty of thoughts about the Super Bowl and the fantastic halftime show. We definitely have thoughts of that. We'll play some of that. But let's start with the elephant in the room, and that is, of course, where Seth is.
Don't talk about his weight like that.
Yeah, who am I to talk? But obviously, the reality here is on Friday, early morning Friday, Seth had a seizure. And it was bad enough that it landed him in the hospital, and he was in the hospital for several days. I believe he went home yesterday. I talked to him yesterday. He was in a car, so I think he was going home. I could be wrong on that, but I know he spent several days in the hospital, and they did all the stuff that they do. They did the brain scans and the blood tests and IVs and the clean him out kind of thing to all the stuff that they do. As of the last update that I have, which was yesterday, he was still feeling pretty crappy, but better, and he's, trying to get himself together, as is. And obviously, the funniest thing, dude, I got to tell you right off the bat, he's like, I don't know what to do about the show. I'm gonna call off of work, but I don't know what to do about the show. And I was like, dude, the show means nothing. It means I had already talked to you, so I knew we were kind of okay. But even if we weren't, who cares?
Right.
Dude's got to get better. That's the only thing that matters in this thing, not who's sitting behind these ring lights and microphones. So, for those of you that are worried, I don't want to say don't worry, or how about if I just say keep your thoughts, prayers, good vibes, whatever going, because Seth still needs them. He's doing better. He's definitely not 100% yet. And that's kind of where we're at, unless you know anything else, Greg.
I don't. I didn't get a chance to talk to Seth. I wanted to see him in the hospital, but I didn't go for obvious reasons.
Sure.
He doesn't need typhoid Greg coming in there and
right,
making things worse. Did his speech sound okay when you talked to him?
Yeah. You know what? He sounded like every other person I've ever spoken to that has woken up half a day from surgery. That groggy, he was definitely groggy, and he was definitely he definitely said that he has some gaps where he doesn't know what happened. Right. And I don't want to get into all the medical stuff, but he did have he did bite through his tongue, so there's that pain in his mouth, but he didn't sound like it was he didn't have that going on. So he's a trooper. He's been through worse. And he's going to do what he's got to do. He's going to get himself back into good health, and hopefully sooner than later. But I wish I could give everybody the rah Monday update that everybody's looking for, but it ain't there to give yet,
Well, according to the liberals, I have a Facebook medical degree. I earned that back in 2020 when I questioned the vaccine and all that stuff. So I'm going to put my Facebook medical degree to work. He was sick last week, probably with the flu or something similar to what I have. Mm-hmm. And I know that I had no appetite last week.
Sure. And
when you're a diabetic, if you have no appetite, you're not eating as much as you normally do, and you're taking the same amount of insulin you normally do. That can bring on a seizure. That's my speculation. That's my conspiracy theory on Seth. But whatever the case, I wish him well, and I hope that this is a one-time thing, and it's not a sign of things to come. And I pray he gets better quickly.
Yeah, same. I mean, my biggest hope is that they can pinpoint it. That's always in these kind of things, when it's not a for sure diagnosis, when it's not, okay, you have lymphoma or you have, whatever. And I don't want to jinx anything with anything bad, but when it's, something happened, we don't know why, that's maybe the scariest of any kind of a health thing. Because you don't know. It might be because you're allergic to something you're eating or something you're drinking or something you're breathing or something your daughter is bringing into the house or, it leaves a lot of inconsistency. So the best hope I've got for right now for Seth is that they figure out exactly what it is, and then they can tell him, do this, do that, here's some meds, whatever they got to do. So
I told Seth I'm going to get his ass on a bike this summer.
You're going to have to push him on that one, man.
Yeah.
I would it be helpful for him? Yes. Would he do it? Probably no. I think Seth is so self-conscious about the one leg that he wouldn't do it. That's a guess, but
I know.
I don't know. Well, in any event, I don't want to dwell on this for the entire show, but I did want to give everybody an actual update of what's going on. So Seth is okay. He is at home. As of the last update I got yesterday, he was on his way home. So he's doing okay as far as we know at this moment. And like I said earlier, whatever you do, whether it's pray or thoughts or good vibes or whatever, throw him Seth's way because he can use them right now.
For sure.
That is definitely important.
Cody, Seth will be back to kicking liberal ass in no time. I love it.
He is the antithesis of the one-legged man in an ass kicking contest, right? He's the one-legged man, but he still kicks ass.
Yes.
Good for him. All right, let's get this thing moving, shall we? Let's talk Super Bowl, shall we? Now, I know you are a giant football fan. I know you told me before we started that you analyze every number and you're big on following it, and you watch 5 games a week?
I tell you what, the housewife or the basic 18-year-old blonde girl that picks a football team because she likes the color of their jerseys.
Right.
That's pretty much me. I mean, I haven't watched football since the fumble back in, what was that, 88, 89?
80s, yeah, in 88, yeah.
Yeah. And I was a nerd growing up. I wore Coke bottle glasses. Nobody liked me. I was uncoordinated. I still am. That's why I bike. Those who can't play sports ride a bike. So yeah, I never watched football or anything like that. And honestly, I was rooting for the Chiefs only because I think that people in the Northeast are jerks. So screw the Eagles. That didn't work out so well for me. But yeah, that's the extent of my football knowledge.
So when they get into the whole Super Bowl hype, I mean, and I'm always curious about this with people that are not invested in the NFL. As you're well aware, as everybody's well aware, the NFL it overtakes everything. Yeah. Everything. I mean, if you're at a job, everybody's talking about the Super Bowl, or they're passing around squares to bet on the squares, or they're taking money on the game, or, whatever it would be. But it really does take over. For you, what do you do during the Super Bowl? Do you look for something purposely? Like, do you purposely go find a movie or something?
No, a lot of times I do watch. I don't really pay much attention to the game, but here's what the NFL does well. Number one, you've got the ads, which we'll get to this year's later. And number two, you've got the halftime show. I mean, they do a great job of marketing the Super Bowl.
Sure.
To people like me and the wives who really don't give a crap about football. Right. So there's a lot to enjoy. Lake Erie Monsters do that. I kind of like hockey, so I go to Monsters games. Sure. And if you've ever been to a Monsters game, you don't even have to like hockey to have a good time at the games.
Yeah, it's all the shooting the things into the shirts into the stands and contests and the kiss thing on the top. It's the whole thing.
Yep. So and if the NFL does a good job of that, and I've seen the last few Super Bowl halftime shows. And I watched a little bit more of the Super Bowl last night, knowing that we were going to come on here and talk. Sure. And really the only thing that this non-football fan got from the game is that the Chiefs got their asses handed to them.
Boy, in a big way. In a big way did they. I don't even remember what the final, what was it, like 40-20 or something. And it wasn't even that close. They scored a touchdown very late. The Chiefs did. It was like 40-14.
And I could tell the announcers were really trying to will the Chiefs into winning the game.
Well, the absolute love that they give to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is disgusting. And I'm not even a hater. I know a lot of people are haters. They hate those two guys.
Right.
I don't hate them, but I hate hearing about them every play. There's 9 other guys on the field when those two guys are on the field, and you don't hear word one about those guys. You only hear about Mahomes. Like, how many? I mean, if you sort of watched the game, right?
Yeah.
How many times in the first half did you hear them say Travis Kelce is yet to catch a pass?
Yeah, I couldn't keep count.
They said it 20 times, and he's one guy.
If it were a drinking game, I would have been passed out by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, you would have been unconscious because they had to say that 20 times. And then Tom Brady, who's beyond awful, he is a bad football announcer. All he watches is the quarterback.
Yeah.
So every single play, he said, and he kept saying the same thing over and over again. He's like, look at Patrick Mahomes' feet. He's clearly not comfortable in the pocket. Look at his feet. And it was like, dude, watch the rest of the game.
Yeah.
We're not all quarterbacks here. We don't see those things. You showed it to us. Now show us something else. That's your job. You're not the quarterback coach anymore. Yeah. It was from top to bottom, the game itself was just a shit show. It was really wasn't very entertaining.
Right.
It was never close even. I mean, no. I think outside of the first quarter, it was over. It was already like 21-0 or something early.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then it was funny at halftime, they were saying, oh, well, you can, there's been teams that have come back, when they're down by this much, and they kept just hoping and wishing.
Well, and you know why they did that, though? Well, you probably don't know why they did that. Because the big comeback of all time was Tom Brady against the Falcons.
Okay.
Tom Brady came back, I think it was 28-3 or something, and his team came back to win. So, of course they're going to do that to market their $375 million announcer. They're going to, if the game sucks, well, we could at least show some Tom Brady. And they kept, how many times did we see Tom Brady highlights during the game yesterday? The guy's the announcer, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And it's like we saw Tom Brady on the football field at least 5 different times yesterday during the game. I don't know. It was it was just a bad game. And I feel bad for the announcers because they didn't have anything good to talk about. So they're just trying to invent things.
Right.
You know
what I got a kick out of was, and of course this isn't exactly football related, but the fact that when they showed Taylor Swift on the big screen, the boos, I
loved it.
And then they showed Trump on the big screen. It
was like, what?
Yeah. Yes. I love that. That was my highlight of the game right there.
Well, I'll tell you what was funny during that. When they went to Trump and the crowd went crazy, they immediately cut away. I don't know if you noticed that, but they cut right away to, I think it was like some military base or something. But it was like as soon as you heard the crowd overwhelmingly cheering for Trump, it was like out.
We're the woke network. We can't show that racist getting cheers.
No, and it played against their narrative of Taylor Swift. The NFL is fully engaged in Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I noticed.
Well, and I'll be honest, if there was a good part to the Chiefs getting their asses kicked last night, it was that we didn't see a lot of Taylor Swift because there wasn't much to celebrate.
Right.
They only showed her, I think I saw a thing this morning, they showed her 5 times.
Okay.
And while that may sound like a lot, anybody that's watched Chiefs games will tell you that is a remarkably low number. I mean, in most of the Chiefs games, they show her 15, 20 times a game. It's like every other pass. Hey, Travis Kelce caught a 3-yard bomb. And there's Taylor Swift celebrating it. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, she's brought millions and millions of teenage girls to the NFL.
Yeah, she has. And we will talk specifically about that when we get to the halftime show, because I have a definite theory about this. But
can't wait to talk about the halftime show.
Before we do, since the game was terrible, let's talk about what the NFL has really become, which is a gambling network. That's all it is.
Oh, sure.
Yesterday, I don't know how many commercials there were for MGM or DraftKings or FanDuel, but that had to be the where in the old days it used to be Budweiser and Ford trucks. It's now gambling.
Sure.
Every commercial is gambling. So I am not a gambler. Not really. I used to be. I quit very long time ago. I have dabbled with FanDuel a little bit, in the maybe 10 years ago, but I really haven't even gambled at all in probably 8 years. Not even a single bet. I'm just not that guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I decided, since I had really no interest in this game, that I was going to put a little bit of money into this game just to give me some reason to watch it, right?
Sure.
And when I say a little, I mean very little. When I listened to a podcast called Everybody is Awful. It's Jim Florentine, his podcast.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. It's really funny. But one of his sponsors was DraftKings.
Okay.
And as with the DraftKings thing, it was if you sign up for DraftKings and you make one bet for $5, you get $200 in free bets.
I saw that.
So I was like, okay, $5, I can afford to lose $5. And so I signed up for it, and I put one $5 bet on the game, and instantly I get, well, here's 8 $25 bets that you can place on the game. So I was like, okay, this is going to be cool, right? And I learned super quickly why everybody loses at this stuff and why these sports books are just raking in the money. And I'll show it here in a second, but the reason they're raking in the money is because it's unbelievably difficult. And not just, I mean, you know, dude, when we were younger kids, you get a sheet, had the list of the games. Yeah. This team's going to win. That team's going to win. In the 90s, it got a little harder when they started doing points. You know, it's like, oh, they're going to win by 3.5 or whatever. You know, it got a little bit harder. Now it's just off the chain with all these sports books. There are bets. First of all, the Super Bowl itself, I think I guesstimated, had 400 available bets.
Wow.
400. So how do you choose what to bet on? And they know this. So what they do is anything that's like an easy bet is a low return. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'll show it here because I actually pulled all my bet slips so that I can show how this works, but it's really something. So I bet Philly and the points. That was an easy bet, and it paid off $19. I will say, I'll just tell everybody up front, I won $45 off of $5 spent. So to me, that's a win. I couldn't wait to cash it out last night, 2 seconds after the game was over. Could not wait. But when you see some of these bets that I jumped into, you're going to be like, how would you even pick these? And this is the point, is there's so many things to bet on, you get lost. You just get lost in it. And I think that's what they hope for, is that they'll let you win a little. I think I'm the perfect example for them. They let me win a little, hoping that I'll stay in and try and double down. And then before I know it, I'm throwing my credit card in there and, you know, giving them more.
Are these the real specific bets, like so-and-so is going to fumble during the first quarter or something like that?
I did do one of those as well. I'll show you. Well, I'll just pull it up here. So this is my first bet. I don't know if you can see this one. This is one that I won. This is what they call a 3-pick parlay, which is you have to pick 3 different things and you have to get them correct. And in this one, the points were going to be more than 48.5. Jalen Hurts was going to have more than 200 yards passing, and Patrick Mahomes was going to have more than 250 yards passing. And I just eked that one out because Mahomes had that late touchdown, which gave him like 253 yards passing or something. I just barely won, but I won that one. Mm. And then I won this one, which is just the straight up game, which was 1.5 points, and I took Philly. So Philly obviously more than covered that spread.
Yeah, weren't the Chiefs favored to win the game?
They were, but the point spread was 1.5 only. They thought it was going to be a close game. It was definitely not that. So those are the easy bets. But now let me show you some of the ones that I lost so that you can really start getting an idea of how these guys rake in money. So here is this first one here. I know this is hard to see on a screen, but the first one was, who's going to score the first touchdown? Is their number on their jersey above or below 15?
Oh, geez.
So if number 2 caught a touchdown, I would have won. But if number 24 caught a touchdown, or Kareem Hunt's 29, if 29 would have scored a touchdown, I lose the bet.
Oh, jeez.
And I forget who scored the first touchdown, but whatever it was, I did not win. So that was one of these goofy ones. Now this one here, I'm actually might have to call DraftKings because I think I won this bet.
Okay.
And this was like for $625. This was a bigger bet. It says Patrick Mahomes was going to score 2+ touchdowns. He did. He had 2 passing touchdowns. So that's 2. I don't know. You know, normally if it's more than 2, they would say like 2.5, so there would have to be 3. But this says 2+. He did do 2. So I don't know how I lost that bet. I don't even understand how I lose this bet.
Right.
Which, again, I looked at their site today. They sure don't make it easy to contact somebody to say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Of course.
So now this was another goofy one. There's a player on Philly named Dallas Goedert. He's their tight end.
Okay.
He the bet was, would he make 4 catches in the game? And that's still a fairly easy win-lose thing. Of course, I lost that one because he only had 2, which is fine. These are kind of the easy ones.
Well, going back to the last one real quick, J-Rad says that passing touchdowns don't count for the bet.
Well, they should say that.
Yeah, I agree.
How about saying that?
Maybe it's somewhere buried in the fine print somewhere.
It probably is. And again, I have not used, this was my first time using DraftKings, so I really didn't know fully what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll openly admit I probably just blew it on that one, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so that one was fine. So now we get into these difficult ones, and these really annoyed me to no end because I was so close on these. So this was a 4-pick parlay. You had to pick 4 things right to win this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can see the money was better. It was plus 525, which means I would have won, I think, $525 on 100.
Okay.
If I had put 100, I would have won 525. So I put 25. So do that math, and you guys can figure out what that is.
Somewhere around $100.
$100, $150, something like that. And I almost got it. 3 of the things happened. Only Kareem Hunt did not get me the 40-yarder. Typical former Brown, acting like a Brown and not helping. Totally sucked. But he would screw me several times in this game. Because on this one as well, or no, not on this one, but on one of the other ones. Now, this was a 5-pick, $1,700 off of 100.
Whoa.
So I was like, well, I'll roll with that. Why not? And again, I was just picking because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. So this one had, I didn't even come close. I obviously missed on 3 things. So that wasn't even close.
Yeah.
This one should have been a win. And this one is the most annoying to me of the entire game because everything is in place for this to hit. The one that would have been the mystery was this one at the bottom, the guy for the Chiefs scoring a touchdown. That was the one that I thought was going to be difficult. The one that didn't hit seemed like a sure thing, which would be Saquon Barkley, the running back for Philly, who set every record known to man in rushing this year, only having 90 yards in the game, and he did not.
Huh.
I was like, oh. But that one would have made me $250.
Wow.
And it's like I was so close on a lot of these things. I really was. And then look at this one is just a straight up miss.
Oh.
I missed on everything on this one, but I looked at this thing and now that I've had time to kind of watch a game and do this, I think I could probably do better at it now. But you have to look at so many things. All these bets are set up in a way that they almost don't make sense, which is why they're set up the way they're set up. Let me go back one to this one right here where Saquon Barkley didn't score didn't get the 90 yards rushing. With Philly winning big, all the Philadelphia guys should have covered, and the wild card should have been the Kansas City guy. But it didn't work out that way. But in most cases, it would work out that way, and they throw the wild card in there so that you'll lose the bet. It's really shifty. I don't have any other way to put it.
Gambling ever not shifty? I mean, casinos are stacked against you.
Yep.
It
is. It's really, and again, I'm not a gambler either. I would think I have to think, and I do know every one of these sports books now has TV shows and everything else. You can go online before the game and you can see the DraftKings Super Bowl preview and they go over all the best bets and I was saying this to a friend yesterday. I was like, you remember in the old days when we would listen to sports talk radio and they would bring in the guy that was also like a used car salesman or something, but in the back of his used car lot, he was also running book, like local book. And they used to bring this guy, and you could always tell he was just some sleazebag, but they'd bring him in. And, yeah, let's talk about the games this week, And he was like, and then 14 times during his thing, he's like, just give me a call at 800 lose money or whatever his number would be. You remember those guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're the buy here, pay here lot guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they used to always work that. But now it's such big business. But I think back then gambling was, I guess it was illegal.
Sure.
So it had to be a backroom dude.
Right. Well, in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, the mob ran gambling here in Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you really didn't want to cross those guys. You didn't want to bet with those guys.
No.
But now it's just it's part of the game. It's really scary how quickly gambling has overtaken not just the NFL, but all sports. But obviously the NFL is the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watch a lot of football, and on Thursdays when they're on Amazon, they have the Amazon Game of the Week or whatever they call that, Thursday Night Football. They have an option on your remote control that you can switch from the regular announcers to an all-female team if you want that, which, oof,
really?
I'm sure those 8 people that watch that are thrilled. And but then there's another option that is sponsored by Amazon Stats, whatever that is, AWS, and it's all gambling. Like the screen itself is shrunk so that they can run gambling numbers underneath and on the side. It's like, okay, on this play, it's most likely that this guy is going to get 4 yards, or they're going to throw a pass here, or, and you can gamble on the fly. That's how crazy it's gotten.
Wow. Well, I mean, I tell you, as someone who's not a football fan, if I was a gambler, it would definitely get me into football, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to lie. I must have gone to my phone yesterday 43 times during the game, just seeing how my guys were doing. It's like the old days of fantasy football, where you'd watch the games, you really didn't care who won the game. You just, because once Kansas City was down big, I started rooting for Kansas City yesterday, but not the team, just the players that I was like, come on, give Hunt the ball.
Yeah.
Or, throw some passes.
I wanted
what are you
to
doing?
see them come back. I really did.
Oh, that would have been great. If they would have come back, I would have won some of those bets. I know it, but they just quit. It was weird how they came out the second half and they just looked like they didn't care. They're like, let's just get out of here.
Let me ask you this, as a dumb guy who doesn't watch football, doesn't know much about football, do you think that these gambling sites influence how the players play? Do you think there's some fixing going on?
I don't know if it's on the players per se. I'm continuing to call BS on these referees, though. First long play of the game yesterday. It's 4th down and something, and they throw a long pass, and they call pass interference on some total nonsense. I mean, a play that happens every week, pretty much every time there's a passing play, but they call a flag. And even Tom Brady and that Burkhardt guy were like, even the guy that they have in the booth that's the replay guy was like, yeah, I wouldn't have called that. I mean, it was so blatant. And I will say yesterday seemed like it was more even, the bad calls.
Okay.
But it was still a lot of bad calls. And, I know that the reputation is that the calls all go to the Chiefs. And I get that. And I've thought that many times watching these games during the season. But a bad call is a bad call. And if you have money on the game, a bad call, it doesn't really matter what team it is. It hurts you. It hurts your, the play that they called back yesterday, this 4th down play that they called offensive pass interference, which happens once every 50 passes. They call offensive pass interference, but it was a 40-yard play for Jalen Hurt from the Eagles to, I think it was A.J. Brown, the receiver. Well, that took 40 yards off of my bets that I had Jalen Hurts for 200 yards on.
Oh, geez.
And that took what? A fifth of the yards that I needed off the board. Luckily it didn't matter, but if I would have lost a bet that had 197 yards passing and they took 40 on some bullshit call, I would have been furious. What they need to do is they need to, in today's world, and this is all pro sports. I honestly think this, and people probably won't like this thought, but they need to use the technology as much as they can. In baseball, they don't need an umpire anymore. They should just have balls and strikes are called by a computer. Put something in the ball so that the ball can tell you. Put something in the ball, put something on the uniform on the shoulders and the knees, and it can figure out if it's a ball or a strike.
Right.
So that should be that. You could make all the calls at the bases with replay. They got 43 different cameras on everything.
Right.
Same in football. Every play in football you can see from the left, from the right, from the top, from the bottom, from the angle. You can tell. You don't need them. And same in basketball. Do you really need a referee out there in basketball anymore? I don't think so.
Probably not.
You can call these games, and if the professional sport, same with hockey even, honestly, I think hockey is probably the one that they need it the most, because the puck's moving so fast you can't even keep track of where it is half the time when you're watching on TV anyway. Yeah. It's a little easier live, but it's not a good TV game anyway, so you need those replays, and they have them. Why not use them?
By the way, Habu doesn't like Ann Esther.
I see that, which is more reason to leave it up there. Here,
Sorry, Maxine Waters.
Let me make it even bigger.
Right.
No,
there we go.
But it is. I mean, with gambling taking over sports, they've got to find a way to make it more legit. I think, don't you think?
Yeah. I agree. I 100% agree. We've got the technology for sure. I mean, heck, why not use AI?
Yeah. Well, we're about to do that. I still think 10, maybe 15 years from now, you're going to have robots playing these games.
Sure.
I mean, there's no reason not to anymore. It's our world is dying, and there's many reasons to think it, but the world today is, anything that can be done with a computer is going to be done by a computer eventually. Yeah. You can think that it's not, but it totally is. There's
Gen Z sped that up back in 2020, 2021. And I shouldn't just blame Gen Z, because I knew a lot of people my age who checked out of the workforce.
Sure.
And, remember when they couldn't find enough people and Taco Bell was offering like $22 an hour or something ridiculous. And then so now they've been replaced by automation. And Wendy's is going to use AI instead of drive-through people. And
AI is anybody that does not, I keep saying this, anybody that doesn't bang nails is going to be replaced. Anybody that, look, I'm when I'm not in front of a microphone, I do IT. That's one of my businesses. I have an IT business. That business has just been destroyed by AI in a hurry.
Really?
And yeah, because what do you need? What do you need a computer tech for? To reset a password? To build a website? To what?
Yeah.
Data, data, search data.
10 years ago, they were touting IT professionals as the career that's going to be around forever.
Well, it probably still will be, but it's only going to be for people that are going to adapt. I know I spent all of December. I didn't have a lot of jobs, like jobby jobs to do anyway. I immersed myself in AI for a month, and I did nothing but I must have watched 1,000 videos, no lie, 1,000 of here's how you use this. Here's how you use this. This is good for this. This is good for that. Wow. And what I did was I became an AI expert because I see the writing on the wall, and people are going to stop hiring consultants to build them a website. They're going to hire consultants to help them automate their business. You know, because you still need somebody to connect the dots. You know, nobody, if you're not immersed in that world, then you're not comfortable enough to say, well, I can tell AI to do this, this, and this, and I'll tell it the right way so it optimizes my business. That's when they're going to bring in a guy like me. But it's not like the old days where if they had a trouble ticketing system, they'd say, hey, come on in here and build this for me. Now they'll bring me in to say, this is what I need it to do. Tell AI to do it and build it and let's test it. And they'll hire a guy like me for way less hours than they used to. You know, back in the old days, they would have a job like that. They would have hired me to come in for probably a month. Right. Now they'll hire me to do it for 2 days. Yeah. You know, they'll hire me to do it in one day and test it the next day. And then I'll be on call to them for X amount of dollars an hour if it ever screws up. You know, so I hope I'm explaining this to where people could see the model shifting. Yeah. You know, but it's going to be like that in everything. Sure. How long is it going to be before, I don't know, let's throw courts, just a traffic court, not murder court, but like traffic court. Yeah. Why in the world are they going to need 15 judges to work for Cuyahoga County for traffic court? Right. Why won't they just hire have a computer programmer build an AI? You feed in your ticket. You can instead of pleading your case, so to speak, you'll get a survey. You know, were you going this fast? Were you at this place? Were you bump, bump, bump? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And it'll spit you out an answer. You know, if you're contesting a ticket. And again, I'm trying to go with the easiest stuff, but right, you can see how it's gonna change. Everything's gonna change. Well, we at the radio station, we were using AI to voice some of our commercials towards the end. Sure. And and you know, I mean, all the fish personalities across the country have been replaced now by 5 DJs in Nashville who in a couple of years will probably be replaced by AI. Oh, yeah. So you'll have an entire network of K-Love radio stations voiced by AI. Mm-hmm. And it's already happening. I'm trying to see if I have Spotify on this computer. I do not. But on Spotify, I don't know if do you use Spotify at all or no? I've used it a couple of times. I don't have an active account, but Spotify has what they call their auto DJ. Okay. And let me see. Oh yeah, I can do this right here on the show. Let me stop this. Let me present, share screen. So what it does, it's this green one right here. And what this thing does is it keeps track of everything that you play in your life. Okay? And it makes a playlist of not only the songs that you've played, but songs that you didn't play by those artists and songs by like artists. But it has a DJ to it. Oh. A personalized DJ. So I'll click it and I hope it just comes on and works, but it'll probably go, hey Chris, welcome back. Here's I see you've been listening to Alice in Chains, so here's some Alice in Chains. Watch. It's crazy.
Some of your 2022 top songs coming now on first. Time to mix it up a bit. This is Pantera with not one of your usual songs. It's called 25 Years.
See, it just talks. You know, it's and this thing will run all day. And it knows my name because it does absolutely say, here's another one I know you like, Chris. Wow. You played it 38 times over the past 6 months. Okay. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. And I mean, that's just a simple example. And the thing is we collectively, we are getting used to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's what's going to make it happen. If we were fighting back, it may not take over as quickly, but we're all just like, oh yeah, that's.
Well, it's the convenience factor. We're all suckers for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm DJing clubs, my DJ program has an AI assistant that sees what I'm playing and suggests the next song.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's by matched beats and everything else, right?
I match beats, the vibe of the last few songs. It figures it out.
Yeah, and how
more often than not, it's on point. I don't really use it, but I look at it and it's like, okay, yeah, that would be a good song to play next.
Yeah, which is absolutely frightening because it's going to take jobs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at it and thinking, well, it's not too bad now, give it 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, this technology has come up in the last year. It has completely changed. I saw somebody in the chat, Cody in the chat, say, and I do this too. I already quit using Google and just use Grok. I do that all the time now. Grok is the AI that's built into X or Twitter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I don't ever go to Google anymore. Never. I just I use that, and as much as I've goofed on it, it is not above me to be like, hey, Gemini, what's this? Just like the dumb commercial that I have goofed on for saying, oh, look at how stupid this is. Now I'm doing it.
I think I had Grok create me a promotional poster for one of my club nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually took an image that looked a lot like me and put it in there with the headphones and all that.
It's real. I've gotten it down to, I've figured it all out now. There's a program out there called Flux.
Okay.
And Flux makes graphics. It's just, you feed it in and it makes a graphic. But it doesn't do graphics. The graphics look crappy, where Grok's graphics look great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if you tell it any celebrity, it makes it look just like a celebrity. It's really crazy. So what I do is Flux has a piece of it called prompt improvement. So you write in your prompt. I want a picture of Donald Trump at the Super Bowl. Anything. You feed it into Flux and you hit this improve it, and then it writes you a really detailed, exactly what AI looks for look. Then you copy that into Grok and it makes an exact, we can do it. I'm explaining this. I'm forgetting. I'm right in front of a computer. Flux.ai. Let's see here. Let's see if I can't log in here real quick. And then I'll put it on the screen. You're going to be blown away by this, on how radically easy everything has become. I know Seth is always like, geez, oh man, the world is going to end. But it's just the nature of the beast. So, here the prompt generator. All right, let me put this up here. Share the screen. Flux AI. So this is just a prompt generator. And I'm going to just tell it exactly what I just said to you. A photo of Donald Trump at the Super Bowl with the crowd cheering. Okay? So that alone would generate an image. But,
okay.
But if I hit this, of course it gives me an error now. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. That's because I'm not logged in, I think. Of course it won't work. Are you kidding me now? All right, so maybe I'm not going to show you this. There it goes. Maybe it's thinking now. There we go. So now it spit me out 4 different prompts that I can use to get this. So I'm going to copy one of them here. And I'm going to go to Grok that does the better images. And I'm just going to say, make a photo of the following. Control B. There it is. And go. Oh, can I confirm my birth year? Jesus. I got to scroll a lot. Can you?
This is Elon Musk looking for your personal data.
Yeah, he is. And he just got it. He just got it. But look, here it comes. That quick.
Wow.
I mean, in, what was that, 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's great.
And these are good photos. I mean, you could use that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you even know that's not real?
No. I mean, it looks just like him, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks like a crowd at a Super Bowl. And these all look pretty realistic.
Yeah.
And that's in, that one doesn't. But I mean, that's in 30 seconds. Make some prompts, copy it, paste, done. And now I could use this wherever I want to use it. If I was writing an article about the thing, I could do it that quick.
J-Rad, are you asking if I've seen the Gorilla Cookies episode of Sanford and Son? Is that what it's all about? Yeah, I've seen every single episode of Sanford and Son. Absolutely.
I love the Sanford.
If that's
and
what
Son.
you're asking.
I was watching Sanford and Son last night when I watched the Super Bowl on Tubi. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, just a side note, bravo to Tubi. Boy, did they do a good job with the Super Bowl. No glitches, no.
Oh, really?
No, nothing.
Wow.
After the Netflix fiasco a few months ago with the boxing, I was really leery about another free service a free service trying to do something as big as the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were spot on and perfect. And it was all in 4K. I mean, they did a really nice job. So bravo to them. But right after the game, the game ended, and then Tubi just went back to playing whatever, and it went right to playing Sanford and Son for me. And I was like, all right, this is perfect. And I ended up watching for, again, you just accept it. For another 2 hours, I sat up watching Sanford and Son.
Yeah, Sanford and Son and All in the Family. I can't pass those up.
Me either.
Awesome.
Or Jeffersons. I'm okay with Jeffersons too. I like them, but.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we do this, Greg? We've been rambling for like an hour already. Jeez,
Okay.
man. Let's take a quick break, pay a bill here or two, and then we will come back and we'll dig into the halftime show and all of its fun. So everybody hang out. We will be back in a minute. It is the Seth Williams Show.
Are you looking for a way to support the Seth Williams Show? Get your Seth Williams Show merchandise today. From coffee mugs to clothing and everything in between, our high-quality merch is the perfect way for you to not only support the show, but show everyone what is the greatest show going today. Just go to shop.thesethwilliamsshow.com now, shop around, and buy some great merchandise from the Seth Williams Show. Shop today.
And we're back. See? That was even less than a
so I can
minute.
get Seth Williams on my shorts, huh?
That's right.
Okay.
I don't even want to say. I'm trying to be good today.
I can only imagine a romantic night with my wife, and I walk in with a pair of Seth Williams boxers.
Oh, I'm sure she'd be. What is that bulge? Oh, it's just Seth.
Seth says hello, honey.
Yeah, can't you tell? It's a big E in Seth. All right. Well, speaking of things that belong in underwear instead of on TV, the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes.
It was quite wonderful, wasn't it?
Boy. Well, first of all, just so everybody knows,
Yes.
if you did not like the halftime show, you are a racist.
Yes.
That's what social media says today.
I know. It's crazy.
So I guess I'm a racist, huh?
I guess I am too. What I find funny is you're not a racist, though, if you are Kendrick Lamar and you did a show without a single white, Spanish, Japanese.
Oh, where's the diversity?
There was no it was all black faces on the in his crew of 1,000 dancers and all black faces. And again, I don't care personally. Personally, I could care less. I do care when the only justification people have for anybody that didn't like the show was that it's racist.
Right.
I actually have a reason that I think that the NFL is doing this.
Well,
And go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you and I both love rap music. We like rap music.
I do.
We grew up on 80s and 90s rap music.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of the 80s and 90s rap stuff was fantastic.
Agree.
I'm a huge fan of everybody from Dre and Snoop to Will Smith.
LL,
Run DMC.
Yeah, NWA. I love me some NWA. I like the gangster stuff, which I'm sure it's not your world, but I was all in. NWA,
I like
Easy,
NWA, yeah.
Easy, Tupac.
Here's the difference, though. Number one, the beats were much, much better. And I'm a tonal guy, so
yeah,
I don't even really listen to lyrics. It's just the overall sound and the vibe. Mm-hmm. And the sound and the vibe of modern day rap music makes me want to gouge my ears out. Even when I do want to focus on the lyrics, I can't because I can't understand what they're rapping about, especially Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, it's too fast and too mumble. Kendrick Lamar is a top flight mumble rap guy.
Yes,
as mumble rap goes, he's the big guy. I mean, I'll give him that.
The beats are lame.
Mm-hmm.
That one song "Squabble Up," where they use the "When I Hear Music" sample, old Debbie Deb song.
Mm-hmm.
The sample, it just sounds completely out of place.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just take an 80s song and stick a sample in there, and it had nothing to do with the song. So yeah, yesterday, the message that Kendrick Lamar had, I had no clue what it was. All I know is it was a big suck fest.
It wasn't good. And we'll get into it here in a second, but I have this theory that the NFL does not, I see everybody, look, I'll put one up right now from Natalie. Halftime show is horrible, should be a variety of entertainment.
Agreed.
I disagree, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think the NFL cares. The NFL, and again, I'm thinking with my marketing hat on, not with my I want to please everybody hat on.
Mm-hmm.
As a marketing guy, I know for a fact that the NFL, people that are watching the NFL, is primarily 40 and ups.
Okay.
Is that fair? That's because younger people don't watch anything for 3 hours at a time. They just don't. So, 3 hours, dude, you have trouble getting people to spend 3 minutes on a song.
Right.
3 hours, and really with the Super Bowl, I think it's like 4 hours with the pageantry and all that other stuff that's going on in that. So getting people to watch for 4 hours is difficult for them, other than old school people that will watch it. The old people that are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, they'll be the first ones on Facebook going, Kendrick Lamar sucks. This is awful. How come we can't have Edwin McCain out there singing I'll Be that'll play to everybody?
I'll take Kendrick over Edwin McCain.
Well, you know what I'm saying. They just want some, or Springsteen or U2 or whoever it would be. Edwin McCain is just the first generic singer that trumped into my head. But they know for a fact that while everybody's bitching and moaning and saying, I'm not going to watch it, and who's Kendrick Lamar, and blah, 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 they'll turn it off for 20 minutes and come back to the game.
Yeah.
Apple already paid their freight by sponsoring the performance.
Mm-hmm.
Apple paid the freight of the people that turned it off and went and watched the Puppy Bowl or an episode of Sanford and Son or whatever they went and did. So they don't care about the people 40, 50, 60, 70. What they care about is the 15, 20, 30-year-olds that are into this kind of music, which is the dominant music right now, that will tune in 10 minutes before halftime because they don't want to miss it, and will stick around probably till the end of the third quarter because they just are watching, and then they might get sucked in. That's what I think they're going for. They don't care at all if you, the converted football fan, like the halftime show. And I think that's a definite shift. It's why they brought Jay-Z in to book the halftime show. They went with a hip-hop guy because old school people don't listen to hip-hop.
Right.
If they cared about what people in general listen to that would play to everybody, every one of these for the last 5-10 years would have been country guys.
Yeah.
Every one of them would have been Jason Aldean. What's the Mullen guy? The guy that's playing the stadium here? Something Mullins?
Mullins?
Something Mullen. I don't know. I don't know.
Morgan Wallen?
Morgan Wallen. That's
Morgan
it,
Wallen.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Morgan Wallen.
There's a problem there, and that's they're too white.
Yeah, well, that's true. But why wouldn't it be Beyonce? They could add a Beyonce country show. She's the Grammy winner. She's the big country star now.
Oh,
and
boy.
didn't she do it last year too? They could have done it 2 times in a row. Once as an R&B artist and once as a country star.
Yeah.
And that's Jay-Z's wife. They could have gone that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, in general, if they wanted to please everybody, that's what they'd be doing now.
Right.
They would not be doing this hip-hop thing.
So I think they're wrapped up in getting the DEI message out there. It's ironic. I had to dig in to the interwebs today to see what the heck Kendrick Lamar was rapping about.
Sure.
Because I couldn't understand a word. Not that I'm a racist, and, he had a message. He was basically saying that, we're divided as a country, and his whole performance was a love letter to Black America. Okay. It's Black History Month, and I get that. And Louisiana, New Orleans is a predominantly Black city. That's fine. Well, why not have a performance that you can freaking understand?
Yeah.
Siri's trying to.
Rap in general is not a performance-based music. It's never. I mean, I've been to shows all the way back into the 90s. I saw Ice Cube. Well, he was with Korn, but I saw Ice Cube, and I went to the big tour that they had here with Tupac and Dr. Dre, and what was that called? The Icebreaker tour or whatever. Way back, it had those two guys. It was when Death Row was huge. It was basically the Death Row tour, and it was all the Death Row
90s,
artists.
Late 90s, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen rap artists. I've seen LL perform. Even I think that was even 5 years ago. It was LL and De La Soul and Ice Cube, and I forget who the fourth one was, but it was a Public Enemy was the fourth one. I mean, so I like rap. I'm not opposed to it, but I can tell you, I as somebody that has seen rap shows in person, I can tell you unequivocally that I've never seen a really good one, because it's not a kind of music that does well outside of the studio. It's not built for outside of the studio.
No, you put a live band behind a rapper and it does not sound the same. And
And I'll give Kendrick Lamar credit there. He didn't put anything live on there yesterday.
No,
I think the whole thing was tracked.
Yeah.
Everything was tracked out.
I gotta say though that SZA, the lady that sang, she was probably the highlight of.
She's the one in the red.
Yeah, I was like, thank God, somebody that sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, it was. Well, let's watch a little bit of it. Let's share it in case people missed it. I don't want anybody to miss out on this greatness. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sure it's going to cut out. So I'm just giving you a fair warning. Switch over to Rumble.
This, you're a racist.
Yeah, well, that's it. Dig in, racist, because we're going to play something you don't like.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Apple Music Super Bowl 59 halftime show.
So
Congratulations! It's your Uncle Sam. And this is the Great American Game.
My Gemini twin back powering up. No more handshakes and hugs.
What?
Energy only circulate through us. Everybody must be judged. But this time, God only favoring us. 20 years in, still got that pen dedicated to a bare hard truth. And he can speak with a vigilant tongue.
First of all, outside of I can't understand anything that the man is saying, why is the music so loud and his voice not? He's the star.
They had that same issue at the beginning when Lauren Daigle performed with Trombone Shorty.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear her sing over Trombone Shorty. Lauren Daigle, by the way, was fantastic.
That was good. I thought Lady Gaga was okay too at the beginning.
I miss Lady Gaga.
She was pretty good, but the Trombone Shorty thing, that was really good. That was strong.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed that, but this not so much. I enjoy seeing that car, even though it's a fake car.
And if you notice during Kendrick's performance, there wasn't a lot of cheering. The only real cheering I heard was when he started to do "They Not Like Us," which is his Drake diss track.
Diss track, right?
Other than that, I think people were thoroughly bored.
Yeah.
His performance.
If you're in a 70,000 seat arena,
mm-hmm.
you can't see him. You can't see what he's doing.
Right.
And you got 60,000 people that are cheering and talking around you. You probably can't hear. We can't understand him when we're listening into the piped in music.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you hear when you're in a stadium?
Yeah.
You just hear, with some beats over it.
Yeah.
It's just not good. But, all right, a little more of this. Here we go.
Predicate this time, miss. I'm carrying heavier hearts right now. Like a power lift with Olympians too. Carrying various darts right now. I deserve this like tiramisu. We go body for body. I hand you a body. I'm probably a better masseuse. Really don't bother nobody, but they running by me if I got to clear out the room. You would not get the picture if I had to sit you for hours in front of the loop. When I have a soul, even if I told
the
you.
only thing this beat is good for is to play in your car all the way up to piss off the neighbors, plus the bass on your car's stereo system.
Yeah.
You can't dance to it.
No, I don't understand the appeal of this personally. And again, I guess that makes me a racist. So as a racist, I don't understand it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to hate it. I like other rap. I don't like this. It just doesn't, there's no clarity. You gotta go to Google in order to figure out the message.
Right. And so, it flew over our heads, and us crotchety white guys, we're the ones supposedly that are supposed to get the message and learn from it.
But no, instead it played exactly to who buys Kendrick Lamar's records anyway.
I did catch tiramisu. Somebody mentioned that in the chat. That's right. So he's rapping about tiramisu. I don't know what social value tiramisu has.
Who knows? All right, that's not nice there, Habu. Jeez, oh
man. One of my liberal friends hated the performance, and I think she's in the same boat. She didn't understand that it was a this love letter to Black America. Sure. And she got all kinds of crap from her friends for hating the performance. What do you mean? It's such a great social message. And I can write a letter with great social messages on it. Mm-hmm. But if you can't read my handwriting, what good is it?
Well, and last time I looked, and maybe I'm crazy on this thought, but nobody's watching a football game to get some social education.
Try to tell the NFL that.
Yeah, I know. Well, they finally seem to, not after this, but I did see that they're removing the end racism from the end zones, and they've slowly but surely kind of edged away because they lost so much market share. That they're.
I saw that, but man, last night, maybe this is because I don't normally watch NFL. I still the NFL sponsored. They did a spot with Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady.
Yeah, that was awful. That hate thing,
right? And I don't know. I've had it with this idea that if you disagree with something such as DEI, equity, you are a racist, you're a hater, you're a transphobe.
Yeah, it's dumb. And like even with that ad that you're talking about, the hate ad, with Tom Brady and Snoop. I can only speak for me and the people that I deal with. I don't hear it. I don't hear hate. No. I don't hear people that are running around saying, you know what? I hate them so-and-sos, whatever, right. Black, white, Mexican, whatever. I don't hear it at all. The only ones that I hear it from are the people that are protesting about it.
Yeah.
That's the only group that I hear it from. Us regular people, and maybe that's bad too that I called us regular people, but those of us that are just regular working Joes that, do our shit and go home, we don't have these problems. We don't have these problems in our life. We generally don't have people like this in our life unless they fly the liberal flag.
Mm-hmm. They've gone so wacko. I can remember 20 years ago, I was DJing a gay nightclub, and I've always considered myself an ally.
Sure.
Obviously, I didn't speak a lot about it in the past few years being on the Fish because
because of the politics or whatever. Right.
But I used to consider myself an ally. I still do. The problem is that the LGBTQ movement has gone so far left and so wacko, because I don't believe in transitioning children, I am now a hater.
Yeah.
I am no longer considered an ally. And it's like, I was DJing gay bars back when, I had to watch my back leaving these bars because,
right, sure.
First of all, they're going to assume I'm gay.
Of course.
And they're going to beat the crap out of me. And this is when gay people were getting, you want to see anti-gay hate. Talk to gay people back in the year 2000 or 90s.
Yeah.
They got the crap beaten out of them and hospitalized.
Yeah.
I mean, it just disgusts me now what they call hate.
Yeah, well, anything that they don't agree with is hate. That's the, we've talked about this on the CMS a bunch of times, and it's the LGBTQIA plus community does not want acceptance. They want worship.
Yeah. Yep. It's no longer required to tolerate. It's required to celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, I'll accept it. You want to be with a dude as a dude? Go ahead. You want to fuck a toaster? Go ahead. I don't care. Do whatever you're going to do. Just don't bring it to me. But don't come to me and say that I'm doing something wrong because I'm not coming to you saying, you know what? It is so brave of you to be a man with a man or whatever. No, that's not how I feel. I'll accept you. Come on in. I have businesses. I'll happily sell you a ticket to my businesses. I'll happily sell you a product. I'll happily do the work for you. Doesn't mean that I got to worship you to do it. Just like if I go to, or you go to, or anybody listening goes to get tires, like on their car, I'll bet you never once how many times you think you've gone and gotten your tires changed on your cars in your life? 100?
20 times. Well,
roughly?
Maybe 20 times.
20 times.
Yeah.
In those 20 times, how many of those 20 times did you say, wait a minute, what do you prefer sexually before you change my tires?
Yeah, never.
And
it
doesn't matter.
I don't give a rat's ass what color you are either.
No.
Or if you're a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
If you're, just as long as you know how to do it.
Mm-hmm. But now if you're in that community, the expectation is that you do that. Mm-hmm. The expectation is that they come at you from a place of you're doing something that you've never done in your life. They think that you're doing that to them and you're not. Yeah. We've all had people in our lives that have come through our life that you just had a bad vibe on. Mm-hmm. And you left them out of your life.
Yeah.
You just didn't invite them in. You didn't say, well, let's just see if maybe I'm wrong on this. You had a bad vibe and you were just like, no, I'm not going to take a chance with that one.
And as a Christian, I don't expect you to celebrate the fact that I'm a Christian.
Sure.
You know, I expect you to treat me like a regular human being, just like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't expect everybody to celebrate me.
Yeah.
But don't treat me like crap because you hate, you know, because you hate Christians, or, you know, you think Christians are evil and racist.
Well, and why if you have chosen a social construct to line yourself up to, do you not adhere to the rules that you're spewing toward other people that are not in your rules? If you're an LGBTQIA blah 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 and you want such and such respect or attitude thrown towards you, why aren't you giving that back to Christians? Christians are way more persecuted than gay people, way more.
Absolutely.
You know, fat people, and I speak from experience, fat guys, fat is the one thing that you are still absolutely allowed to pick on nonstop.
Yeah.
You are allowed to say, look at that fat slob, look at that tub of shit, look at that fatso. You know, nobody will ever question it. What, is that somehow less hurtful to somebody that's fat?
Right.
It's the same. Fatso and faggot, the two are the same as far as hurtful demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you take that to is up to you. Whether you give those words power or you don't give those words power, they're still meant to hurt in very much the same way. You're different from me, and I'm pointing it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the LGBTQ community doesn't see it that way. They only see their own vision.
Right.
And that sucks. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and I found that there's a lot of narcissism in the LGBTQ community anymore, especially with the trans, especially the Gen Z trans. They're looking for respect that they have not earned yet, especially when it comes to their pronouns. You ever see a video of a trans person who gets misgendered in a store?
Oh yeah, stop.
You know, they freak out, and it's like, you're a guy in lipstick.
Yeah.
You know, they want respect and they want you to play their little fairy tale game.
Yeah. Well,
because that's how they earn respect without actually being a good person.
Well, they haven't earned respect within the construct of what they want. You want to be respected? Well, last I looked, I don't have to respect you. You have to earn my respect in any level on anything, whether that's as a good person, a good worker, a friend, an enemy, whatever. You have to earn respect. I'll accept. See, I always get lost in the words because I'll accept if I see a dude with a wig, obviously pretending to be a girl, I'll accept you. If I was working in a restaurant, I'll throw you a plate of food. I'll take your order. I'm not going to call you ma'am because you're not. But you haven't earned that. You haven't earned that by who you are. You know, just because you're doing dress up, when your kid dresses up as a pirate, you don't call him Captain Bligh.
You know, I thought of that. I talking about the respect thing.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of thinking about the whole trans movement.
Sure.
With Gen Z. And I mentioned earlier that in high school, I was picked on. I was a nerd. I had thick glasses. I couldn't get a girlfriend to save my life. And, this was in the 80s,
Right, sure.
I was bullied, all that stuff. And I was thinking, man, if this whole trans movement were big back then, would I have fallen for it? And honestly, I might have.
Wow.
Because I was so desperate. I'm thinking, how immature my mind was back then. I was so desperate for attention and to be popular, to be respected. And if I could throw on some lipstick and a dress, and all of a sudden everybody would say, Greg, you're so brave. You are amazing. And speak your truth, Greg.
Right.
Speak your truth. I might have done it.
But it wouldn't have been a truth.
No,
it would have been a performance.
Absolutely not.
It would have been a performance.
And that's what most of these kids are doing.
Yeah.
And then I could have said to people, I could have said to the bully, respect my pronouns. I'm a girl. I'm not a guy. You need to call me a she, her.
Right.
You know, I might have done it. Yes, Greg Arena.
See,
yeah.
And again, and I don't want to go too far into this, but the problem with that, and it is the problem that is one of the biggest problems with the whole trans thing. Where does it stop?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to do that to yourself and you are of age, fine. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
When you start doing it, well, I'm 30 and I've got a 2-year-old and my 2-year-old boy is now a girl and we're going to get his junk cut off so that he can live like a girl. You're not giving that kid.
It's child abuse.
Yeah, you're not giving the kid the opportunity to make their own decisions. You know, and that's you see it more and more. You see, like with Dwayne Wade's kids or Hollywood kids in general. How many Hollywood kids are trans?
Well,
and they're like 6.
Mm-hmm. And that's because the parents now get that same kind of respect and attention. You're so brave and you're such a loving parent for, raising this child to be trans. And another story, one of my earliest memories, I might have been 4 or 5 years old. I took a red crayon and for fun, colored my fingernails red. And I might have even tried to do my cheeks with the crayon. It probably didn't work out very well. I remember running around the house going, look at me, I'm a girl. Look at me, I'm a girl. And I'm sure my parents laughed it off. You know, you're so silly, Greg. Imagine if it was 2025 and my parents were these California liberal wackos. And they would have started me on puberty blockers, posted on Facebook about our brave son, Greg, our brave child, Greg, not son. So yeah. And that's how, these kids get messed up.
Yeah, it's, and again, it goes back to the respect thing. Where's the respect level for doing that? You lose respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why trans people have such a problem getting respect, because they try to force it instead of trying to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can earn it by being a good look. And I mean, it took a while. I'm not going to say that the world is perfect, but there was a long time the gay people couldn't get any respect. Now none of us really care.
Right.
None of us, as long as you're not, as long as you're not, outwardly, overly gaying up the workplace, you come in and do your job and, and then your boyfriend picks you up at the end of the day or whatever. Nobody cares.
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, in the old days, that was a thing, but those days are gone. I mean, it took a while.
Yeah.
But, and maybe that's why trans people fight so hard, is they know they got to put up with it for the next 15 years to get to that. But
well,
I don't know.
This is the thing that sucks about DEI, whether it's gay people or trans people. Who you sleep with doesn't make you a better worker. Who you dressing up in lipstick doesn't make you a better worker.
No, not at all.
You got to be a good person. You got to be a hard worker. And that's how you should be selected for employment, for promotions.
Of course.
Yeah.
And when you come off on people like the videos that you're exactly talking about, guy in a wig at a restaurant, somebody says, "What do you need, sir?"
That's ma'am.
That's ma'am.
It's ma'am.
Yeah. Well, look, I've got the long hair. I have been called ma'am because I've got very long hair. And I never once was like, "Hey, you call me sir." Goddamn. I just was, when it's happened, which it's happened, I think twice. And both times the person like fell over themselves apologizing.
Yeah.
And I just was like, whatever, I'll take a Coke. It's like I'm not going to. I'll get their respect. Mm-hmm. I'll earn their respect by being polite, not by being an asshole about it.
Right.
You're a guy. Face the facts. You're a guy. You're dressed like a girl. Somebody addressed you as a guy. You can be polite about it and just say, no, it's ma'am. You don't have to get into nobody's going to question you. Nobody's going to be like, well, what were you born with? Especially if you're at a restaurant or something. The waiter's not doing that.
Right.
The waiter, if you correct the waiter to your circumstance without being an asshole, they're just going to roll with it. Because at the end, they just want a bigger tip.
Exactly.
They don't care. They don't care about you. They just want a 20 on 100. That's what they want. But, well, we certainly went a lot of directions today now, didn't we?
Oh, we sure did.
Well, we are going to wrap this one up.
Natalie, thank you, by the way, for the kind words.
We'll put that up there. Somebody had to carry the show today because it sure wasn't going to be me. So, of course, it was Greg.
I don't know. You did a heck of a job carrying the show. You're doing a Super Bowl show with a guy who knows nothing about football. I mean, geez.
Well, I do a couple of shows. I'm well practiced. I will say this. I do not know Seth's status for Wednesday. We do not know. Seth will be back when he's back. I will be here Wednesday.
I'll be
Greg
here.
Greg may be here Wednesday if so. And Brian Wheat from Tesla is scheduled to be with us on Wednesday as well.
Nice.
He has a new band called Violent Breed. It's a side project, I guess. And we will play a little of that, and we will talk to Brian Wheat about that as well on Wednesday. And Greg, of course, I do want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and out of your life to do this.
Unemployed schedule. You're welcome.
Oh, you still have to, dude. You know this as well as anybody. It's not that easy to step into foreign land on the radio.
No.
And to vibe with. I mean, me and you have never done a show before ever. And it's hard to just jump in and vibe with somebody. It's not easy.
I got to tell you, I vibe with you a lot better. Well, no, I shouldn't go there.
Don't get in trouble.
Everyone's check isn't here yet.
Yeah, don't get in trouble. Everybody's great over there. Those new people are great.
No, I got nothing but good things to say about my former employer. That's for sure.
Of course.
So,
well, we had a good time today. I hope you guys did too. And we will be back on Wednesday in some form or another. And stay with the socials to keep up with what's going on with Seth. Either he'll post something or I'll post something if I hear something, and we'll just go from there. So, for the Seth Williams Show, I am Chris Aiken.
I'm Greg Mack.
And we will see you guys Wednesday. See ya.
Peace.
Seth Williams loves this land, stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Trip, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. Lost a leg, but he's still strong and true. Chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.
Welcome to the ultimate experience for hard rock and heavy metal fans. Introducing the CMS Locals VIP app, your #1 destination for all things on the CMS network. Dive into the classic metal show, Chris Aiken Presents, Seth Williams Show, and more, all in one place. It's free to get started or elevate your experience with a subscription for just $4.99 a month. Go commercial-free, get advanced releases, and enjoy exclusive bonus episodes. Plus, it's the prime spot to chat with like-minded fans who love raw, uncensored commentary. Are you ready to rock? Download from your iOS or Android store, search for the CMS network, and join the community now. It's free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep our shows with you every single day. Install the Locals.com app today and